introduction of the Nautel NT100 digital television transmitter. I'm Chuck Kelly, and I want to welcome our representatives from around the world to this presentation, which will be a short introduction of the Nautel NT100. This is an exciting day for us here at Nautel. So here's the things we're going to talk about today. Why is Nautel getting into TV? What are we doing at the IBC and the WBA? What is the NT100? What is the price? And can it do with lots of options? When do we ship? What tools do we have? Where do we go from here? And your questions and comments. And the first thing I want to mention is that we are doing this webinar not to give you every single answer, but to get you prepared as the front line for Nautel for the inevitable questions that are going to start coming from our customers and your customers to why Nautel is getting into TV and what are the specifics of our new offering. So I'm going to try to give you the answers that we have, the answers that we're prepared to give at this point in time, and try to explain a little bit about our thinking and what your part to play in this process is going to be. So, as has been the case in previous webinars, if you're watching this live, you are welcome to submit questions to us, and at the end of the webinar, we will take your questions and do our best to answer those questions. So, you'll notice on the GoToWebinar software on the right-hand side of your page, probably, that there is a place to enter a question. Feel free to type in questions at any time, and at the end of the webinar, we'll go back and look at your questions and do our best to answer them. So why is Nautel getting into TV in the first place? I mean, it's true. Most of the TV transmitter manufacturers are a total mess. Acrodyne is gone. Axera just reorganized. Harris is getting out of the business. Rodin Sports is reevaluating their involvement. Thompson and others are shells of their former selves. So if this is such an unhealthy, horrible industry, why is Nautel interested in getting into it? Well, these companies all grew when the digital transition was beginning in North America and Europe, and since sales have dropped because the transition was basically completed, they're unable to support the infrastructure that they built. So it's a big loss for them. But even a loss in terms of reduced sales is all upside to Nautel. We've never been in the TV business, so we're expanding our offerings as the remaining 2/3 of the world converts to digital. Most importantly, it is our customers and our representatives who've been coming to us asking for the same creativity, quality, and support that they've grown to love with our radio products. And I think another point is Nautel is a very solid company. Our business has been growing year after year after year, and people want that kind of reliability as a manufacturer. They don't want to have to worry about whether the manufacturer of their transmitter is going to be in business in the next couple of years. And Nautel has the strength and growth and the investment that Nautel is making provides that kind of security to both customers and representatives. And that's a powerful driver for us. So what are we showing at IBC and the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association? Nautel will launch the DVB-T2 version of the NT100 and the DVB-T version of the NT100 at IBC on September 7th in Amsterdam. The display will include an NT100 operating in DVB-T2 mode with video playing through it and a demonstration AUI. The North American launch will be about a month later in Madison, Wisconsin, the Wisconsin Broadcasters Clinic, and we'll show an ATSC version, that's the North American video standard, of the NT100 and present a paper there. Note that this introduction is a concept car. It's not ready for prime time. We won't be taking orders or quoting prices. The intent of this introduction, of this whole process right now, is to solicit feedback about what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, where this ought to be priced, what the competition is, and you, as our representative network, are a very important part of that process. We want to know from you what kind of things we should be doing in order to make our television products the best possible and successful for you and us and our shared customers. So what is the NT100? It's Nautel's initial television transmitter product offering. It is a solid state 2 to 100 watt digital UHF transmitter capable of operating with most DTV standards. As you may know, there's a number of digital television standards around the world. Most of the world is, is operating in either DVB-TT or DVB-T, DVB-T2, or ATSC in North America, or ISDBT in Latin America and in Japan. It is unique in the industry, the NT100 is, in that it is compact. It includes the digital exciter with adaptive pre-correction, the PA, the power supply, the controller with web server, and the output mask filter, all in this one box that looks very much like a VS. The interesting thing here is that in a lot of the competitive products, these are multiple boxes tied together with cables in the back, a little bit of a kludge and more expensive to build. So the Nautel NT100, by being an all-in-one product, just like the VS is, where everything is built into the box, it is an opportunity to be a little bit more creative, a little bit more innovative, and bring new things to this industry that's looking for that kind of creativity and innovation. The NT100 development is a cooperation between Pro Television from Denmark, Jim Young Communications from Korea, and Nautel. And the three companies have combined their decades of experience and technical knowledge to develop an innovative, cost-effective product which advances the state-of-the-art in television transmission significantly. Looking inside the box, since we're all technical folks here, you'll see that we've got an LD-MOS PA, just like in the newest series of transmitters from Nautel. The output mask filter is up here at the top. There's forward and reflected samples. Note that this transmitter provides both adaptive pre-correction in the linear mode and the nonlinear mode. So there's actually two sets of adaptive pre-correction built into the NT100. The linear sample is over here prior to the filter, and the nonlinear sample is at the output of the filter. And that's what the top view of the transmitter looks like. On the bottom side, you've got the exciter over here, which is, you can change this exciter depending on what kind of digital television standard is in use. There's a GPS, an interface controller, and then there's the actual transmitter controller. We're using the same lineage power supply as in the new NV Lite series of transmitters, and that lineage supply is not only very, very reliable, but it's also very highly efficient. And efficiency is something that is a work in progress in television transmission around the world. Note that this lineage supply, this version of it, is capable of operating at either 110 volts or 220 volts. And that means, and this supply actually provides a 48-volt output, which is then sent to the DC to DC converter. So all of the supplies within the transmitter come from this lineage supply. That means the transmitter, it can automatically switch between 110 volts and 220 volts. There's also here an optional receiver, which can be used to take and make this unit a gap filler or a translator, where it can receive one television signal and then retransmit that same signal. And because it's digital, it's lossless. So there's no difference in the quality of this transmitter output and the receiver input that it's getting. Looking at the back panel, we have the video inputs, which are ASI or, gosh, what's the other standard? 310, SMPTE 310. So we've got two inputs which can switch without any kinds of problems. It switch seamlessly between the two inputs. We have a number of inputs that are related to the GPS, which is a standard feature, but the thing that facilitates is the potential of doing SFMs with this transmitter, which is optional. The exciter and transmitter web access Ethernet connectors are here. The parallel remote control, inputs and outputs. The power connector is here. There's a master power switch here, and the output connector is at the top. Okay, here are some very basic specifications. The transmitter itself is frequency agile from the entire UHF transmission band, 470 to 860 megahertz. However, the output filter, because it is a carefully tuned filter, has to be tuned. So the transmitter, when you consider the fact that the filter is built in, is not frequency agile because the filter must be tuned. The AC input, as we mentioned, is 110 or 220. The rest of the specifications are pretty standard. As I mentioned, the data inputs can either be ASI format or SMPTE 310. The output is BNC, or the RF output is N female. And you can see here that the power range is 2 watts to 100 watts. This is in ATSC mode. It varies a little bit with which standard is being used. the frequency stability, spurious and harmonics, power stability are all well within industry norms. I should mention that one of the big advantages of this transmitter is its spectral cleanliness. Because of the fact that we've got this dual loop of adaptive pre-correction in this transmitter, the performance is significantly better than the industry standards in terms of spectral meeting the spectral mask. So here's some questions about can it do ATSC, which is the US and Canada digital television standard? Yep, does it. DVB-T and DVB-T2? Yes. That's most of the rest of the world's standard, and yes, this unit is compatible with DVB-T and DVB-T2. ISDB-T, which is the Japanese standard, and ISDB-T-B, which is the South American Brazilian standard, probably just the South American and Brazilian standard for now. Repeater and gap filler applications, yep. Higher power, maybe this transmitter does have the design that it may be able to go somewhat higher than 100 watts. We're still investigating that. That's to be announced. But meanwhile, it's estimated that 58% of the number of total worldwide DTV UHF transmitters fall within the 2 to 100 watt range. So this is a huge market. This is why we chose this particular product as our initial product offering. Will it carry the Nautel 4-year warranty? Yep. It'll carry the same warranty as the rest of our AM and FM broadcast products. How about the Nautel style AUI and other cool IP features that we've introduced with the VS and the NV and the NX and the new NV Lite? Not yet, but we're working on it. So these are things that will be coming. What's the price? Sorry, folks, we're not releasing the price just yet. But I can tell you that it will be cost competitive with the other medium tier products. Probably won't be as inexpensive as a Chinese product or something, but it's not going to be as expensive as a Harris or other top line products. So it'll be cost competitive with the medium tier products, but feature and performance competitive with the high line products. So there will be a definite advantage to this product in the marketplace from a costing standpoint. When do we ship? We're not quoting these just yet, as I mentioned, but we are hopeful to begin shipping by the end of 2012. We want to have the opportunity for the feedback that we're going to get at these two shows and the feedback that you and your customers are going to give us to be implemented within this product before we start shipping, and that means that we need to get that feedback as soon as possible. What tools do we have? How are we getting the news to the marketplace? We have 2 introductory brochures, one for promotional use and one more which is much more detailed. We have a new website which should be coming online either later today or early tomorrow, which is nauteltv.com. We have a frequently asked questions, or FAQ, which will be kept up to date, and this is the URL for that. If you like, send me an email and I can send that to you. If you're busy scribbling that right down, that's the URL to get the frequently asked questions a document which will be kept up to date. There's a press release going out today to all TV and broadcast periodicals. We have a wide range of ads going out worldwide. There's newsletters, website banners, e-blasts, as well as standard ads. In a wide variety of different publications around the world. We have a worldwide introductory webinar that will be coming out on September 26th, and we have a PowerPoint which our regional sales managers will have and be able to provide and present at SVE meetings and major shows around the world. We'll be out talking about this product as well. Where do we go from here? We plan to add to the line with higher power models. We plan to enhance the web interface to make it more comparable to the AUI and add test equipment as we have in the AUI. We have plans for the same sort of innovative features that we pioneered in the NX, the NV, and the VS, the innovative IP features such as Nautel Phone Home and those sorts of things. Bear in mind that the worldwide market for TV transmitters is estimated at $165 million a year. So we believe that as time goes on and we grow our line, we will take a substantial chunk of that worldwide market. We don't go into this business lightly, nor do we go in with super high expectations, but we will continue to innovate. We will continue to build reliable, trustworthy products that will satisfy and surpass your customers' expectations, and we believe that that will give us all a substantial share of that $165 million a year market. However, regardless of how exciting this new market is, we will never, never, never abandon our leadership and keep our eye on the ball in the radio transmitter business. This is an extension of our broadcast commitment, and we intend to continue to grow in this part. And I also should mention that in terms of representation, all of you that are watching this webinar today may be curious as to what is your part within this process, and our initial plan is to utilize our existing transmission representation structure as much as we can. We recognize that there may be some organizations that are not interested or have the ability to get into the television business, and we understand that, and we will then develop additional representation in your market if that's required. We also understand that some of you may already represent a television transmitter manufacturer and are not interested in changing, and we understand that, and we can, the regional sales managers will be responsible for finding appropriate representation for this product as we grow. But just as we have with radio, we consider our representatives to be a very, very vital link in the process of developing this market and carrying the Nautel television product to the marketplace, and we hope and expect your support and your questions and your feedback. If you have specific questions, please talk to your regional sales manager from Nautel, or call me directly, or send me an email. I believe all of you have my phone number and my email address. So thanks very much for watching today. I hope we have begun to answer your questions about the NT100 and Nautel's plans in this industry. Thanks very much.